I went on a date with a guy once, and he told the waitress, no, thank you. He doesn't want water because he doesn't drink water. And in my head, I was like, grand opening, grand closing.
Welcome back to the podcast. I started this podcast as a way to help Black men in all aspects of our lives. Studies show on average we lose 2.8 years of our life when we're under heavy stress. And I think we can gain those 2.8 years back if we express ourselves healthily. Stick with me as I interview therapists, doctors, advocates, activists, and friends about how we can be better as Black men and as a Black community. If you're not subscribed to us on YouTube and following us on Instagram and TikTok, you'll definitely want to do that. Without further ado, let's get into the episode. All right, y'all. I'm here with Sunny. Sunny is a licensed therapist, a professor also at CUNY and NYU. Sunny, how you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Kizzo.
Of course, of course. We were having a dope conversation before we started the episode. You were talking about how you decided to do some stuff over the weekend. Can you take me through your process of like actually venturing out and doing something outside of like what you're normally used to doing? Because I think it's important to talk about that. I think you had some real key points that I think the audience needs to hear.
Okay, so like I was saying, I had to be really intentional with getting myself to a space where I was going to be able to accomplish a goal of mine. So the
Mm,
goal was basically to be more social. As a result of the pandemic and my love for, and affinity for books, I really had a difficult time readjusting back to society. Like
mm,
I didn't really feel like I needed to go back outside and socialize with people to the point that my doctor was like, your blood pressure is like ridiculously low. Like, what are you doing? How
mm,
are you doing your job? How are you helping people? And it's just always low. I was
mm.
like, well, I'm just chilling. She's
Is it
like,
a
yeah,
bad thing to have your blood pressure that low?
so it's not really because of my diet, because I
Mm,
don't cook with salt and certain things
mm,
and like exercise, my blood pressure is normally low. But she said she just realized like during certain times during the pandemic, and then even after that, she would have expected like an increase, and it really didn't
mm,
increase even during like stressful times in my career. Like
mm,
my blood pressure could be a little bit higher towards the start of the registration season or the
mm,
beginning of the semester or like November, December, January with clients and people wanting to, turn a new leaf and reaching out for therapy. So she's
mm,
like, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm just chilling. I'm just reading all these books. I built my library. She's like, yeah, no, that's not cool. I need
mm,
you to go and socialize with people beyond your students and your clients. It's like, what's your dating life like? I was
mm.
like, yeah, it's non-existent. It's like I'm in a space where it's true. Like your worth and your value. You don't give out your time for free 99 anymore.
Right.
So I said, I'm no Action Jackson in this. So she's like, yeah, I don't like that for you either. I
Mm,
want you to go outside. I want you to meet people. So whenever I do things, I always come up with a goal. Like, what's the like reverse engineering? What is the end that I want to reach, and how am I going to get there? So I just started being more strategic with planning my socialization, and that
mm,
works because I'm a planner. Some
mm.
people are more freestyle Friday and impulsive and
Nah, yeah.
spontaneous. I'm not spontaneous because I'm from the hood. Spontaneous, you got to keep your head on a swivel where I come from. I don't think I'm ever going to get rid of that.
Right.
So I started planning out my weekends at least a month in advance. Okay, so these are the friends that I want to see. When you're a grown up, your friends have kids. Most of my friends have kids, they're
Mm,
married. So I can't always be like, hey, girl, what you want to do? You want to go here? So I plan it in advance. So I started planning to go to concerts. I love concerts and I will go all the time, but now I started going by myself. I'm
mm,
like I told you, I love Wu Tang. I don't know if my friends love Wu Tang as much as I love Wu Tang.
mm,
So when they announced this in New York State of my tour, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm in there like swimwear.
mm,
I'm not going to sit around and ask 11 people do they want to go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a VIP ticket and I'm going to sit in the first row
mm,
in the first section so that I can have my up close experience. So that when Ghostface and Raekwon and Capadonna come out, I could be like, oh yeah. So that's what I did. I've been really intentional. This weekend, I went to see one of my favorite DJs. And it's a new genre that I exposed myself to in COVID, which is Afro house. So there's Afro beats, which has a lot of lyrics and words and messages behind the songs. But then there's Afro house, which is like house music, but with an African twist. Sometimes there's words, but they're usually like in African language, unless they're like remakes of like American English songs. But he was at the Brooklyn Mirage. I've never been there before. It's humongous. It's like 2 whole factories in one. It's like 3 of the Coliseum block put together, like that whole entity. And I went by myself and I met someone there. We had an amazing conversation. He shared 3 Audible books with me. I was like, okay, this is my kind of person. Like, you like books? Read. Okay, cool. So I was pleasantly surprised. And then when I went again, I had a girlfriend hit me up and say, oh, what you doing tonight? So I'm on my way to this concert. She said, I'm gonna meet you there. The ticket's available. So she ended up meeting me there. So I had already planned this a month in advance, and it just so happened that it really came together really well. So I encourage people, like, listen, if you want to be fully independent and in control of your own happiness, you really have to grab it and harness it and sit down and cultivate it yourself. You cannot defer that to other people. I'm not going to not go somewhere because maybe my friend doesn't know that she wants to go right now, and or she may not have the money. I can go somewhere else with her and we can plan that. But if something comes up that I'm interested in doing, then I gotta do it. How the saying goes, scared moves don't make moves.
Scared money don't make money.
Yeah, money don't make no money. So you gotta go outside. And it's been a really empowering, but also a very enlightening experience. Some of it I share on social media. So everybody's like, oh, Sunny, I see you. You were outside. And so even I have a women's group, and I said, okay, listen, we're going to do virtual group, and then we're going to have monthly in-person socialization. Since y'all want to be outside, we're going to be outside too. And so this is my way of getting you guys to come outside, but I don't want you to rely just on me. I want you to now cultivate your own social experiences with other people.
Man, I love that. I love that for you. I love that.
And thank you. And plus, when I go outside, this is another thing I learned. When I go outside and I'm by myself, men don't want to talk to women that are with other women or other men. Men find it easier to approach me if I'm by myself.
So do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? Because I feel like a lot of times women are like, I don't want men approaching me while I'm outside.
I think it depends on the person, because some women don't like that. But for me, I do risk assessments when I'm engaging with people, right? And I trust my intuition, right? And like I told you, I'm very strategic. I'm not going anywhere without someone knowing where I'm at. With my iPhone, find your locator on. I share my location. I check in. So for the most part, I'm not going to intentionally put myself in a space where I think I'm going to be at harm's risk. I'm not drinking when I'm outside. If I drink, I'm drinking water, maybe like a soda, which is something I normally don't drink. No alcohol. Nobody's going to be roofing me. Okay, so it's going to be, smart and strategic. But for me, I think it helps to eliminate that barrier. Like, I'm going out and I want to meet people. I want to meet men. I am single, recently single, so I want to meet men. And maybe they're not going to approach me if they see me with my whole crew around me.
I'm keeping it a stack with you. It's not, most men are not going to do that. I got a couple friends that's like, man, I don't care who's with her. I'm approaching her. I'm like, listen, man, kudos to you. Because me, when I was single, first of all, I never really did the whole approaching thing because it never really worked out for me. You approach a shorty, then you get her number, and then y'all start texting, and it just doesn't go anywhere. And it's like, bro, what did I waste my time for? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did I do that? Right? So for me personally, I'd rather meet somebody and have a prolonged conversation than just do the pull up and try and get a number type of thing. So I guess that's what you're speaking to, is like being alone and being able to create a space and where that can happen organically.
I think so. I've found and it's not like Black men, all the men, like all of them. Hi, how are you doing? You're so pretty. Can I buy you a drink? I'm like, you can buy me an appetizer. I'm not drinking tonight, but you can buy me an appetizer.
How does that work out for you?
It's been really like it's been very successful. Like I've had instances where I've been able to enjoy a conversation, even if I wasn't attractive to the person and I didn't want it to go beyond that interaction in that space. And I let them know, like for me, I have always have the choice to say, well, I can't do that because unfortunately I can't give you my number. I don't think my boyfriend would appreciate that. So they don't know that I'm single unless I tell them that. So if I want to reject them, I don't have to do it in a way that might deter them from approaching a woman in the future. I can do it in a way that will thank them for the opportunity to meet them and exchange time and space with them, but also to let them know that I'm not necessarily rejecting them. I'm just choosing to honor my relationship. It just so happens to be a fictitious and non-relationship for now, but I'm practicing because I know he's coming. So
Yeah,
that's all it really is. Like,
nah, I like that. I like that. And the reason why is because I feel like sometimes women don't understand, like, as men, like we're supposed to be like the hunters, right? For lack of better words, right? We're supposed to go out on the prowl, get our woman, or your partner, right? It doesn't have to be a woman, right? But we're supposed to go out on the prowl, right? And I think people downplay how many men have a fear of rejection. And and just can't deal with rejection, right?
Remember we talked about that a
What's
little
up?
bit.
What do we? Yes, put me on.
So I always say like nowadays the most I think the organic way to meet a person is through social media.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And so, but when I was growing up, that wasn't the way. It was hey ma, how you doing? Right? Can I talk to you for a minute? Oh, shorty, what's going on? Can I talk to you? Let me run after you real quick. You running down the block, or I'm going to the Coliseum. I'm going to Jamaica Avenue after school. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see what kind of guys are up there, whatever. And so then were very proactive, and they had to be in terms of reaching women and meeting them and actually like engaging with them to like get their phone numbers.
Right.
They had to go after us back then to get access. Now everybody has access immediate. Right. There's no real challenge involved to the access. So it eliminates that a little bit of that rejection. So it's like, listen, it's either you respond to this DM or you don't. It's cool. Because I could send the same good morning, sis, good morning, sis, good morning, beautiful, copy and paste to everybody, and whichever one bites, bites.
Yeah, that right there, I cannot do. Yeah, I can't. I ain't gonna lie, I've done it before when I was younger though. When I was mad young and I was like on Facebook, I was like maybe like probably like 14. I was like 14. I'm adding every girl that I see that looks good. I'm sending the same message. I'm just replacing the first name, the name. Yo, bro. Nah, bro. I can't. Now, like at my big age, hell no, I ain't doing all that. And for me personally, it's like I think we're in an age now where also men is like we don't have that. Like you technically are not going to get rejected on social media, but there is a chance for you to get embarrassed and shamed. Whereas like Shorty will screenshot it and put it on her story. Look at this thirsty mom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo. So that's another big reason as to why some men don't reach out. Yeah.
And so some men who recognize that they take a extra level of protection. So there's things like coping mechanisms, but there's also safety behaviors. So safety behavior prevents you from even getting to a space where you have to cope with something.
Explain.
So here's the perfect example. The coping mechanism to dealing with embarrassment, if somebody embarrasses you on social media and puts you on Front Street as being thirsty, would be something like deleting your page.
Okay.
So that no one can tag you and identify you. The safety behavior to that is preventing and avoiding that altogether by never even really sending a DM, but just replying with hearts to the stories. So if she doesn't respond to the hearts, it's cool. Ooh. And now you don't even have to worry about it because it's just very casual. I just like your story. That's nothing. I like everybody's stories.
So what you're saying is you on to the men that's just leaving the hearts.
You can leave the hearts, but what's really your intentions? What's really good, my G? Because now you're gonna leave the hearts for me, and I'm gonna take it a step further, and I'm gonna say, give thanks, King. Now let's see if you what you want. Are you? Sometimes they'll hit me with the, oh, I think I need therapy because my baby mother, blah 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 blah. Okay, so let me give you a referral. Oh, I was hoping that you could be my therapist, but I'm not gonna hold you because if you was my therapist, I wouldn't be able to focus. Here we go. Thanks. Here we go. Got you. You got me cracking up over here.
Yo, I really can see, and I know you get that message a lot because you really just ran down the whole. I can see that.
It's okay because I'm here for it. Because honestly and truthfully, if they're willing to, if they view me as safe enough to try, then that means they give me a little bit of an end, and I'll receive it. And then once I figure out where they are, then I could either leverage that opportunity to either help them or connect them to help, or even redirect them and let them know, listen, this is not really something I'm interested in. This is not really what my page is about, and that's not really why I give you access to this page. You know what I mean? But if this is where you want to go, this is the way that I expect you to take, like the steps to take. You know what I mean? So it's like my first job out of grad school was in a drug treatment program. And I was specifically assigned to men who were coming home on parole and probation. Okay. Now, most of them had drug charges for possession, not for use. Okay. So a lot of them were my peers.
Damn, okay.
And the first thing that the director told me, like the first day that he hired me, he was like, we know you're very smart, Sonny. You went to NYU, you had all of these degrees, you have an amazing resume. But one of the reasons we hired you is because you're very pretty. And we want the men to stay in this program. So we know that if we put you in charge of the behavior modification group, where everybody come home on parole and probation, they're going to see this pretty girl. They're going to be more likely to come to this group because there's this pretty girl here running the group. And at first, I was pissed. I was like, you're trying to use me? And then I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? No, this is excellent, because it doesn't matter how I get them there. As long as I have the interaction with them, I can keep them there. I know my stuff, so I'm gonna keep them in the group.
I like the fact that you think of it that way, because I feel like different people would be appalled.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think some people who might, identify with some of the isms and feel like, that's not, like, maybe it's a way of sexualizing. I don't know. That is not how it worked for me. This treatment center was in the middle of Cumberland projects in Fort Greene, right? It's in the middle of the hood. Downtown Brooklyn, everybody's coming. Most of the people coming home from parole and probation are coming right there because it's downtown.
Right.
I didn't have a problem with it. I felt like, you know what? If I could tackle this as my first job out of grad school, I could tackle anything. When I learned how to drive, like, I'm from Queens, right? We're from Queens. I didn't take driver's lessons in Cambria Heights like everybody else did. I took my driver's lessons in Flatbush, where I went to school, undergrad, LIU. Because my thought process was, if I could drive with the dollar vans, I could drive anywhere.
No, facts.
Teach me how to drive on Flatbush Avenue. If I could drive up and down Flatbush from the bridge all the way to King's Plaza, I'm good money, honey.
Nah, that's facts. It's you got me thinking about when I first learned how to drive. And the first time you get in the car, I was with an instructor. I was like, yo, you got me driving already. I thought I'm going to just watch you drive or something. You know what I'm saying? You got me in the driver's seat. So I put the seatbelt on. I started driving. And he has the wheel on his side too. But I'm just freaking out. Like, bro, what the hell? I did not expect to be driving today.
So, I'm stepping on the brake too hard. I'm stepping on the gas too hard. I'm turning crazy, all this other stuff. And then like I remember the next lesson, he had us on Jamaica Ave. I'm like, bruh, what are you?
Really?
Yeah, he had us
Already.
on the Ave.
Oh, it's go time.
Defensive driving already. I'm like, nah, bro, you crazy. I think I did maybe 10 lessons and then I did my driver's test. Luckily I passed. But yeah, man, I think you made a good point about putting yourself in a situation where like you kind of went to like the worst, absolute like worst case scenario so that like if I could drive here, like I could drive anywhere.
Right. For me, mastery is very important.
Mm,
So that's a concept that like, that's a part of my core values and beliefs in my own personal mission statement for Sunny, like
mm,
mastery, right? What can I do? I want to expose myself to as much stuff as possible, but then I want to figure out what things do I need to master. And I
mm,
knew driving was one of them. So put me in the worst of the worst, because if I can come out, then I'm gonna come out all the way on the top. And that's like a theme for my life. Like my life has never been easy. It still isn't easy. I tell people this they're like, oh, but Sunny, I'm like, there's things about my life that I'm not happy with. But there are so many other things that I am happy about. Right.
mm,
So
mm,
it's a choice, it's a conscious choice and a decision that I'm making. Right. I saw my mother die when I was 7 years old.
mm,
I called the ambulance and I could literally close my eyes and see my mother laying on the floor, unconscious, with the EMS workers doing CPR, me being upset because she's naked at 7 years old. I can take myself right there.
mm,
And that's not something that I like to see. But at the same time, I recognize that's not the height of my identity.
mm-hmm.
I'm a daughter without her biological mother, but I'm also a daughter with an amazing godmother who helped to co-parent me with my amazing stepmother after my mother died.
Mm,
So we're not a monolith. And I think that's something that, like, as Black people, we have to understand. And as Black men, I really like for them to understand and embrace that. Like, yo, you don't have to be one dimensional.
mm,
You can still be a person who is a provider, who is a protector, who is safe, who provides security, and you can still express emotion and feelings, but with the right people in the right time and the right place.
mm. I love that. I love that.
And
So
you can still do it.
yeah, you're absolutely right, man. I'm glad that you spoke on that because I think it was Jay Barnett that posted it today. He was talking about how we have to not allow our trauma to define who we are. Right?
Right.
It's something that happened to you. It's a part of your story, but it's not the
Not
story.
you.
You know
A
what I'm
lot of
saying?
people, a lot of people don't know who they are without their trauma, and that's why they don't let it go.
Oh, nah, you're getting a little deep on them.
If you take that away, who are you? Today I woke up with this was so divine because I woke up this morning with so many downloads, and
Mm-hmm.
and so I was just getting them out. Like I try to get them out as soon as possible. And then I struggle with this, with going live and speaking on social media. I rather just speak behind the scenes. To
Mm-hmm.
this day, I'm still struggling with, can I do a podcast? Do I want to commit to that? Right. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
get there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get there. But today I had to do a voiceover because the message that came, the download that came today was, how you living, B? Like I saw it in my head and I heard it from like paid in full voice. Like, what's good? How you living, B? How you living, B? Like, how you living? Tell me how you live. Tell me your morals. Tell me your values. Tell me your code of ethics. If I ask your friends, your family, your spouse, your partner, your children, your coworkers, your neighbors, how do you live? How do you treat people? Do you do what's right even though it's not easy? How do you make decisions? Are you willing to sacrifice yourself for other people, good and or bad?
Mm-hmm.
That's going to tell me who you are, not what kind of car you drive, not what kind of clothes you wear, not what Balenciaga shoes and bags you have, not if you went to Hunt and Fish restaurant. Like, that's what really matters. How are you living? What do
Mm.
you like on the inside? Because you could
Mm-hmm.
look really good on the outside, but you could be nasty on the inside.
Right.
You could be
Mm.
abusing people, hurting people that you love intentionally and unintentionally because you're not thinking about anybody other than yourself.
Man, man. You said I want to know what's on the inside. Now that's what not what's on Instagram.
Flip your ass inside out because I want to see what's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You may not be so attractive on the outside, but you could have a heart of gold on the inside.
Mm.
That's why. What's your type? None.
So
The
that
right.
don't matter to you. So let me ask you this question, because now we get into an interesting topic, right? Because I talk to my girl about this all the time, right? I always ask her, I'll be like, yo, do looks matter to you? And she's like,
What she said.
she's
Yes.
like, so I haven't asked her in a little while, but I feel like her thought process is they do, but they don't at the same time. Like you can't be butt ugly, right? Like, okay, you know what I'm
I
saying?
need to be attracted to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the thing. So for me, I need to have sexual attraction. It needs to be a physical attraction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to be with you for? If I don't, I want to be on you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got big Scorpio energy, so yeah, I have to be attracted to you. Okay. We're not gonna play these games now. In this big age, that does matter. Okay. I'm not even gonna hold you. But also,
Mm-hmm.
I need to be mentally attracted to you. The mental attraction can drive and reinforce the physical attraction.
Mm.
So
Mm.
you might not be a 10 physically, but you might be a 11 in terms of mental attraction.
So let me ask you, what do you look for that determines like mental attraction to a man? Like, what is something that you feel like, okay, yeah, he's mentally attractive to me?
Can you teach me things that I don't know? Do you read books? What's your relationship like with your mother, your father, and your children? Those are the things that's going to make me pay attention and determine if I'm stimulated enough to continue in a conversation with you. Because by that time, I know if I'm going to give you my phone number or not. I might just hit you with the here, follow me on social.
Mm.
Because
So when you hit a guy with the follow me on social, you like, nah.
it's not there. And he has not done enough to convince me that there would be a connection or that I should continue like a conversation with him. Like I met a
Mm-hmm.
guy once. I met a guy once in person. Where did I meet him? At Grits and Biscuits years ago, like way before Corona.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, he's cute, but he seems like really young, and I don't really know. He's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, Henny Palooza and all. Oh, I don't know about that because
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle is important to me, right? If you're not a person who, do you take care of your heart? Like, do you walk, sir? Do you exercise? I don't like you if you don't move your body. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna like you. It's not gonna happen, Captain. I went on a date with a guy once, and he told the waitress, "No, thank you. He doesn't want water because he doesn't drink water." And in my head, I was like, "Grand opening, grand closing."
He said, nah. Yo, you said, nah, I'm good. This man don't drink water? Nah. Bill, please. Where's the check?
Yeah, I heard Jay. I heard Jay Z's voice. Grand opening, grand closing. Like, nah, it's not gonna happen. But the younger guy, I said, okay, he looks like we had a good conversation. We danced, we had fun, but I'm not sold. So he's like, how can we keep in touch? And I was like, here, follow me on social media. And I gave him my phone. And he was like, nah, you tried to play me. So he was a smart guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? He knew. So I said, okay, well, maybe let's see how he handles this. He said, all right. He said, oh, you don't want to give me a number? All right, cool. But I'm going to take this social media You tried to play me, da 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 da. And then literally like hours later, he wrote me on social media. He's like, did you get home safely? It was nice meeting you. I hope to be able to, talk to you in the future. I really enjoyed our conversation. And so from there, we kept talking in DM. And then eventually he's like, so you still not going to give me a number? And I was like, no, you could call me. But after he put all of that, like those efforts in and made me know, he's not like Spacey Stacy, like a knucklehead, right?
Right.
Because I don't have a problem asking any man, what do you want from me? What are your intentions?
What answers do you normally get to that question? I feel like a lot of men don't be knowing.
They don't want to know. So sometimes I have to tell them, like, it's okay if I tell them, like, okay, so I tell them, like, how my dad taught me, right? So I told you, I have two fathers. I have my biological father. He got addicted to drugs when my mom died. And so my uncle stepped in to kind of like raise me, and he became like my best friend. But he got diagnosed with Alzheimer's not too long ago. So it's like a loss. I lost my best friend like during COVID, which was really hard for me. But my father taught me that, son, all men are gonna like you, and they all gonna want to sleep with you. That's a given. So I want you to expect that. He said, but some of them might want other things from you if they know that you can provide other things. So it's up to you to determine what you can show them that is your value or your worth that you could provide, and for you to reorganize the structure in which what they want from you is. So when they first meet you, they see a pretty woman, nice shape, nice smile, nice personality, or not even personality. They just see you aesthetically, physically, and they think, let me go talk to her. But then when I talk to you, they might realize that, son, you really have you're very humorous. Like, he's like, yo, you're so funny. Everybody knows that like you showing up in your authentic self, you're going to make people laugh. You make them smile. You make them feel good. He says, so now it's not just that it's sexual, but they get a good energy from you. Right? Then he's like, you teach people things when you talk to them, even though you don't realize that you're teaching them. So you share things with them about life, or you give them tips about fashion. Sometimes he's like, I watch you. You tell women where to go to get their hair done, or you tell people what books to read. He says sometimes you even give them therapy stuff, even though you're not trying to give them therapy stuff. So I'm like, so like advice. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. He's like, if he's a smart guy, he'll start to put in order of importance what he wants from you. It's your job to make him understand that the thing that brought him over to you is going to be the last thing on the list that he gets from you. So I will tell him, listen, what do you want from me? I mean, I know you're attracted to me. Why wouldn't you be? I'm not like the hottest lady in the world, but I'm not too shabby neither now, boo. So what is it? Do you want free therapy? Because some men come because of their spirit, and they're attracted because of healing energy and capacity. But sometimes they don't know that. Sometimes they'll be like, I just like your energy. I just like your energy. But then sometimes that conversation can veer off into like relationships
and trauma.
And then I'm like,
and then they emotionally dumping.
Let me redirect you for a second, B, because guess what? I don't work for free 99. Never work for free. Okay. So let's be clear, right? Do you like me? Do you want to date me? Or do you want me to be a therapist? You need to pick. I'm going to give you a couple of days to think about it, and then we'll reconvene and we'll talk about it. Sometimes they'll say, I really do like you, but I never thought about emotions and stuff until I started talking to you, and I really think I should explore therapy. But could you be my therapist? No, I cannot. We could probably talk about things that are therapeutic if we have a friendship, but then that takes you out of my dating pool and that puts you in the friend zone. And I'm okay with that to a certain extent because I'm going to help you find a therapist. I'm going to give you a referral.
So do you feel like it's a common theme in your life for men to be attracted to you and then you kind of refer them over to therapy? Because I feel like I've heard you say that multiple times.
I feel like because of social media and the way that I've been meeting people for the past 2 years, that has been a theme.
Mm.
prior to social, because before COVID, my social media page was my personal page.
Mm-hmm.
And it really didn't contain a lot of content about mental health or therapy.
Mm-hmm.
My page changed when COVID came because I couldn't reach my friends and I started seeing how many people were dying and how many people we were losing. And I felt like, what can I do? How can I help?
Right.
How can I help my friends process their feelings and their emotions? How can I help them know that they're not alone and be a supportive resource? Like, what's a better way for me to use this platform other than just posting selfies? And so that's when I changed the name of my Instagram. I opened up my page and I started posting content. And then I went so far as to create a mental health community, a text message community. So every Monday, I would send out mental health prompts for people to journal and self-reflect on to help them process their emotions. Then I ended up making a mental health virtual group. And I built the app. But this all came in 2020.
Right.
So I think with the increased exposure, it brought more people to me than I would have normally met in my everyday coming and going.
Right. Yeah.
Actually being home and having access to social media 24 hours a day, right? Everybody started going live more. People were looking for therapists on social media. Like before COVID, a lot of people didn't search for certain things on Instagram and TikTok. But now, if you're looking for something, the first thing you do, you go to social media.
Yeah,
Or
a lot of
on research on Google, people will look for you in social media after they see you online somewhere.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I tell people all the time, yeah, Instagram is your resume. It's your portfolio. It's your digital portfolio. That's where
Right.
people go. They see the website, then they're like, all right, let me see what they're doing on social media.
Right. Because my website is horrible. I'm still working on revising it. But my Instagram is where my presence is.
Right.
And I'll be very honest. Sometimes I close my page and make it private. Like today, it's been private for a few, maybe like 2 weeks now, because I monitor the energy that comes in. Who? I don't want a gazillion bots on my page writing Forex in the comments. I want, what are you doing? Who sent you? Go somewhere, right? When people make a comment, I want to be able to receive it. I want to be able to acknowledge it. So if it's crowded with I went to doctor such and such and they cured me of my herpes, I can't find those comments because all of those bots are crowding up the comments. And so then automatically I'm like, I'm not even checking this. But somebody could be really writing something that resonates with them about something I posted. And that could give me the opportunity to have a conversation with them because my page is filled with people that I know personally and some people that I don't know. Right. But that's my value in it. So what if somebody I knew wrote something about postpartum and I wrote about postpartum?
Right.
Now I could say, oh, okay, oh, that's so great. All right, Tasha, I like that you put that there. I appreciate your vulnerability and thank you for sharing that. And then I could send her a message behind the scenes and say, listen, I know a few great postpartum groups here. I want to connect you and send the resources. And then I could post some stuff in the stories with flyers. So I take a more active approach. Like sometimes I open it when there's a message that I really want people to receive, and then I'll close it back if I feel like, who's all these people in the stories? I look at the pages. Who are you following? You following a whole bunch of big booty Judies. You're not really here for this content. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Did your page get hacked? Because somebody asked me to send a Cash App for school lunch.
Yeah, that definitely be happening to me. Yeah. Every week I get somebody that's in my DMs talking about Cash App this or Cash App that. I just block them.
That's what I do too. So I'm like, listen. And so I know, like, in terms, that's why I tell people all the time, don't always determine whether a person's value in real life is equivalent to the amount of followers they have, or if they have a blue check.
Yeah, man. I can speak on, man. I talk to a lot of my friends that have platforms. I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. All the people that y'all see that have all these huge platforms, I'm talking like 70K, 50K, 100K, 200K, even millions. Most of these people, their life, dude, does not change, bro. Their life does not change. I still go to the gym every morning. In fact, I be seeing people that know me from the page in the gym. They could tell you I look regular as hell in the gym. You know what I'm saying? I'm living my regular ass life. Excuse my language, but it's true, right? Like people think you get a certain number of followers and then everything changes for you, bro. Nothing changed at all. I'm still working my 9 to 5, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not out here buying Lamborghinis, right? Like I'm
And
not
then that doesn't mean that what you're offering is not valuable. Like
right.
for
Yeah.
half of the stuff, like you're not gonna, and there are so many other pages that I'm on that those pages have all the followers and they bring those people to me, like constantly contributing to like Earn Your Leisure or
Mm,
like Queen of Food. Like I'm a sacred woman practitioner with Queen of
mm,
Food. I'm in the documentary. Like, but I never posted that on my page. They
mm.
post it and then they tag me. And if the person watching it is interested, they'll click it and then they'll come over to me.
Right. Right.
I'm not putting that up there. I don't, that's not something I want to put there.
Right.
But same on this, like on the flip side, I might post a video of me having a car party because I always have car concerts because that's one of the ways I keep my frequency high, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the other day I went out and my girlfriend recorded me. She's like, "You love you some Fabulous." I'm like, "Come on now, you know how I feel about Fab. This is my guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though he's more of a model than he is a rapper, he's still my guy. Still riding with him."
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna record you." So she records me doing like just singing the verse that he made for Puffy. I gotta move on. Like he did his,
Mm-hmm.
you know how he always do. He does covers, and I'm a
Mm-hmm.
kid from the blend tape mixtape era, like 50 Cent, or like DJ Clue, Ron G. That's my era.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in gotta move on. The reason why I love it so much, it's about boundary setting.
Mm.
So I posted the video today, and of course I'm cursing in it. So I put some explicit, like, listen, it's some explicit language. But he's like, if I don't F with you, you gonna feel it. And if I don't F with you, you gonna feel it too. Right. So if I rock with you, you gonna feel it. If I don't rock with you, you gonna feel it.
Mm.
Right. And he's saying, like, I tried to give you all. It didn't matter. Basically, he's saying I was the right package at the wrong doorstep.
Mm.
And he's having enough respect and love for himself to remove himself from a situation instead of staying in a place where he's not valued and received.
Mm.
So I'm gonna
That
post this on here. And you may not like it because you might see me driving, rapping, and not understanding what this is. But it's like how Jamaicans, we say, overstand, over your head. It's going over your head now. This is
mm.
not about Fabulous. This is about people being in relationships where they're not valued and respected and received and appreciated and saying, yeah, I gotta love myself a little bit more than I love you, and I gotta leave.
Right. Right. Why do you feel like it's so hard for people to leave those kind of relationships?
I think fear and comfort with familiarity. This is something I tell people all the time. You have to be comfortable with discomfort. You have to learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Mm.
You have to get comfortable with discomfort because change doesn't come from comfort. Change comes from manipulation, bending, stretching, moving beyond the space that you are already in to create something different.
Mm. Mm.
You're not going to change if you don't bend and stretch and fold and break and bend and mend. You won't change. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, right? He cracked himself. They pasted him back together and he put him back up on the thing. But he had to fall apart first.
Right.
And then when he fell apart, he got back together again. You're not going to change if you stay the same. So a lot of times people fear that discomfort, that process
Mm.
of having to let go. of something that's so familiar, so comfortable. We have this routine. This is my person. Good morning that I text every morning. How you doing? I call, I talk to you, I FaceTime you every day. Now I have to get used to that emptiness, that void. It's up to me to decide what I want to do with it. For me, I don't have Kanye West money yet. The more money I have, the more people I can help. So I don't really need to be focusing on I don't have this guy to talk to because I don't have the money that I need to do the things that I want to do to help the people that I want to help. So I'm okay with having free time, kid, because I could be reading a book. I could be learning how to invest. I'm trying to figure out more. I could come up with another group. I could hire another therapist to work for me.
So you're saying
you're on the phone with him anyway.
Right. So you're saying that for you being in your own individuality, you don't mind it because you invest that time into yourself.
Yeah, and I it's not like I don't want that person, right? But I also understand that my success, my happiness, my efficacy, right? The efficacy, the ability to do something effectively should not be contingent upon someone else and occupying space and time with them. Like those memes say, what you bring to the table? I am the table. Now bring your table over here and we're going to put these two tables together and we're going to eat real good in this neighborhood.
I like it. I love it.
Because you are what you attract. So if I'm in a space where I am not my best self, then I'm not going to attract somebody who's not their best self. And you can waver and have peaks and lows between this. I've been up and down because those are the times where I'm not focusing on an active goal. Right. Like the month of August, I didn't have an active goal in July and August. My goals for July and August were to be free, socialize, and have fun. School's out. I'm chilling, I'm outside. So then I wasn't steady up like I normally am. Even my fitness goals were like impacted because I hurt my knee, so I couldn't do my cardio, couldn't do my Peloton. So now I'm just like, I'm all over the place. I'm eating all kinds of things that I normally wouldn't eat. I'm like, all right, you know what? Give yourself this grace. You have this time. But by the end of August, sis, get it together. So then I sat down, I said, all right, what's the goals you want for the fourth quarter? How do you want to finish this year, son? What do you want to do? And then I sat down and I made these goals. And I said, okay, now what's your strategy to reach them? But if I was too busy focused on spending time and developing a relationship with someone, particularly someone that's not even like aligned with me,
right?
Then that's a waste of my time. And time is money. You don't get an hour back.
Yeah, time is actually more valuable than money.
That's my time and my health are my two most valuable assets. Because as long as I have those two things, I could get anything else.
That's a fact.
If I don't have my time and I don't have my health, I'm out. I'm out. Take me out the game. Because I don't have the freedom to do what I need to do, and I don't have the capacity, whether it's in my brain or in my body, to get it done. I can't visualize it and I can't do it. And if I don't have the time, then I can't apply the vision and the effort to make it come to fruition.
You preaching
so
right now.
You want to give me back time? It's cool, boo. Thank you. You give me time, I'm going to take that time and I'll do something else with it. So look, now I have free time. I planned out my month and I went to the concert and I went to see Black Coffee and I met a guy who gave me 3 free Audible books, right? So he literally put them, like he showed them to me, but then later on, he's like, listen, I'm going to Cash App you so you could download those books and buy them and put them in your Audible. Oh, that's nice.
You ain't tell me that one. You ain't tell me
that was a smooth move right there. I said, oh, first because he doesn't have social media. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's to be determined, because
Mm.
sometimes they don't have social media, but they do. But that's a whole nother
Yeah.
that's a whole other podcast.
So let me ask you this. That guy, because I was gonna ask you, you gave him your number?
I did,
Okay.
because I liked the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciated what he said he was doing in terms of like working with youth in Queens.
Okay.
And if that's something that he really was doing, then I would want to help him with that.
Mm. Were you would if he hadn't a cash app you, were you gonna give him your number anyway? Or you
Oh, he
gave
cash
him?
out me after I gave him my number. So
Oh,
he
okay.
showed me the books first, and
Mm-hmm.
I took screenshots of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said, let's make sure we connect and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. He sent a nice message the next day. It was so great to meet you. I look forward to supporting you. Let me know how I could support you in your mission or whatever. And then he's like, oh, by the way, I found you on Cash App and I just sent you money so you could actually download the books and add them to your Audible.
Y'all going on a date or what's up? What's going on?
We haven't talked yet because I've been busy all day. He did write me. He did write me.
Mm-hmm.
But I did let him know. I said I double tapped it because it's an iPhone, so I double tapped it, and I
Mm-hmm.
said, "All right." I said, today's one of my really busy days, but I received it. Thank you so much, and I'm gonna reach back out to you when my schedule is a little bit free, because I didn't want him to think I was ignoring him, and I keep my receipts on for a reason, because I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to know if I did or did not get their message. Like, I
Right.
think women don't always recognize that sometimes men need a little bit more reassurance.
Explain.
I think that women have to embrace the concept that not every man has like this infinite amount of confidence, and that they don't need verbal like reaffirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes women will be like, well, why I got to tell you you're doing a good job at what you're doing? The same way you tell your kids that they're doing a good job at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Years old, my stepmother and my godmother still tell me they're proud of me.
Right.
I didn't ask them. I know they are, but they tell me because they want me to know. And it's
Affirm
nice
that,
when they
man.
tell me, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know that there's like 5 common or popular love languages, right?
Right.
Words of affirmation is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I tell women all the time, you have a job? Oh, of course I have a job, Sonny. Yes, I have a job. I said, so what do they do at your job every 365 days to let you know if you're doing a good job or not? They give you an evaluation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they rate you on a metric scale of 1 to 5 or 0 to 10 or whatever. And then they give you a description of your performance. Right? Sometimes the evaluation is linked to a merit-based increase. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
What if you gave your man an evaluation and you gave him a merit-based increase?
Uh-oh. Don't get too radical now. Don't
What
get
if
too radical.
what if you let him know that he's doing a good job, and it builds his self-efficacy, his ability to know that he's doing this job as your man effectively and very well? Men don't like rejection the same way women don't like rejection, because people don't like to be rejected. Dogs don't like to be rejected.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone is doing something and it's providing you with value, it's making you feel good, it's giving you something you need, why is it hard to acknowledge that?
Listen, man, you about to have the men in the uproar. You about to have the men in the uproar right now.
Why?
I'm telling you, because there's a lot of men that are in relationships with people that aren't affirming them, and they don't feel seen, and therefore their self-esteem is a little bit lower, and they may not feel like doing the things that they're supposed to do, even though they know they're supposed to do it. Not saying that it should be that way, but I am saying that it's a give and take, right? Like, you want him to, do certain things, affirm him. It's a very small It's a very
I
small
don't
thing.
see what the big idea, like, what's the big deal about it? I'm not going to hold you. You better tell me that I look good. You better tell me that you like how I look today. If you let me post a picture and 50, 11 guys go in my DM, or you don't like my stories with hearts, I'm telling you, the relationship, no, it's not over, but if you don't tell me you like me, trust and believe I'm going to listen to the person who does.
Mm.
Maybe they're not going to take your spot, but eventually you may not longer be in the running to becoming America's next top boyfriend. Because why should a stranger tell me something and it bring me more value and happiness and much more of a positive response than my own person? Like, you're my person. So yes, 50, 11 people can like my picture, but as long as my man like my picture, that's all that really matters.
My girl be saying the same thing.
You better like everything heart. And let me tell you something too, because the guys do this thing where once they got you, they don't like to respond. Like, before they talk to you, before they have the access to you, they like every picture, right? The guys who are in a relationship, they don't usually write. They don't usually put hearts. They usually put fires. Like, that's hot, because they trying to test the waters. That's the sneaky ones you got to watch. But the ones who are bold and or really want you to know that they like you, they'll put the hearts. You, my dude, you better heart everything. I don't care if I'm selling this highlighter. You better like it. I love it, baby. Yes. What's wrong with me knowing that you know how much value I add to your life, and that you have no problem expressing it.
Let me go ahead and get on my girlfriend's IG right now and go ahead and
come on now.
Let me go ahead and do that right now.
Wasn't who was it? Wasn't Meek Mill in the back when Safari was in the front with Nicki?
Yeah, I think Meek was. I don't know what Meek was doing, but Meek was doing something.
He was strategically intentional with his interactions with that woman. So, like, people's replacements could be right there. I've seen it a million times. And I'm not justifying anything, but you have to know, I think women, you have to know your man, and men, you have to know your woman. It's just like relationships are work. So when people say, I don't want my relationship to be like a job, yeah, I don't know about that. Because do you want it to grow? Because if you want it to grow, you have to put work in. You got to put some elbow grease.
Yeah, you know what, you coming up on a really good point. I think people, this may or may not be controversial, but I do treat my relationship as a job, and I do see it as a job, and not in a bad way, right? But I do treat it with the same level of effort that I would a job, right? Whereas like I'm taking notes, and she's giving me feedback, and then I'm trying to apply the feedback, and then I'm asking her for what her critique is on that, me applying the feedback, right? And I'm always like readjusting and then trying to see where she's at, engaging, and it's effort, right? And it's also money involved, right? Now I'm buying gifts, I'm taking trips, I'm taking you out, dates, all these different kind of things, right? So I think people don't put into context like how much work, effort, and money is actually required in a healthy relationship. And so they get into relationships and then they're like, damn, I gotta do all this. Like, nah, I don't know about all that.
Right.
I don't know about all that.
That's honestly, I think people are in this particular scope and space and time, people are not willing to do a lot of hard work, because for the most part, over the last 10 years, a lot of things have been done for us. So people don't want to calculate anything in their head because they got a calculator on their phone. People don't want to learn how to spell because they got spell check, right? People don't want to learn how to navigate and pay attention to read signs when they're driving, pay attention to landmarks because they got Waze and every other thing that thinks for them.
GPS.
So
yep.
I think people are not thinking critically about how they move through life with daily operations of life. So they think that everything else is supposed to be easy breezy. I'm like, nah, you got to put some elbow grease in that. You got to put some elbow grease in it. You don't know what elbow grease is? Let me teach you. You need some sweat equity. Go do some work and then come back over here. A relationship does require effort and work. If it's a job, then be the best employee. Be employee of the year out that bitch. What's the problem? It's your person.
Right.
First of all, whenever my husband decides to show up, he's going to know that he's the husband and he's not going to question anything. I'm not leaving no room for doubt. I'm not, you're not going to be like, well, there goes Tamika and she does this because Sonny doesn't do that. One of the best things I ever did as a therapist was become certified in this Gottman's couples method.
I've heard a lot of therapists talk about that. Damn, it's like that, huh? It's like
Gottman, listen, that's why I know when my husband comes, he knows, like, and I saw last week's podcast, like, and with the difference between a husband and partner. So I know, like, people feel the controversy. When I say husband, I mean my life partner. I'm not talking about necessarily I'm going to be having some grandiose European wedding because I ain't giving it up like that. Literally, we gonna figure and I just started using the term husband because they taking all the loans back. Because before that, I wasn't getting married. Because you're not going to increase my my estimated loan repayment contribution now because I got a joint income. we was about to be living together unmarried. I'm telling you right now. My friends know, they be like, oh, Sonny said she's not getting married because she's not paying back extra loans faster.
You said Biden made you believe in marriages again?
So maybe I will go down to City Hall and we'll sign a certificate. But it's a piece of paper. It's really about the morals and values and how you respect and uphold that agreement.
You're right.
So for me, I don't necessarily need to be married. Right? Being married is a construct that I'm not 100% sold on. Because I work with people every day. They're married and they doing whatever they want. Those people, sometimes those people are in my DMs. Go sit down. And I'm not just talking about the men. I'm talking about the women too. Because women cheat just like men cheat. And we're not going to sit here and act like they don't. The only thing is that most times, most women are smarter and think more strategically about how they cheat so they don't get caught.
I ain't gonna lie. If my ex never told me that she cheated on me, I would have never knew. I'd have been out here. I'd have been out here looking bad.
Listen, women
are already looking bad.
Some of the things they're cheating with their own friends. The guys are worried about the girls having friends that they call bros, but some of the women are cheating with the sis.
You can't win out here, man.
This is why.
You're not saying on the pod because we already got some men that's out here like.
You have to be what you want. This is the one thing I will say. It is difficult to live by a certain code of ethics and standards. Yes, it can be lonely, but you are not alone. There's a difference between being lonely and being alone. You're not by yourself. This concept of soulmates, I'm not sold on that either, because what if my soulmate is really my best female friend? What if I have more than one soulmate? What if there's more than one version of me at any point in my life? Who I was in the 2000s is different from who I was in 2010 and 2020. So what if I have a different soulmate for a different version of me every decade of my life?
You need a new partner.
Maybe. If my partner is not growing also, and we're not growing together, then I might outgrow them and leave them behind. The thing I tell people all the time is when you come to therapy, if you're in a relationship and there's any contention and there's difficulty, one or two things is going to happen. If you really get invested in this process and you really start to love yourself and hold yourself into a different standard, either your person is going to come up with you as you grow up, or they're going to get lower, fall by the wayside till it's unavoidable, it's in your face, you can't fight it no more, and then y'all break up.
Facts. I believe that wholeheartedly.
So you don't need to go to couples therapy. Go to individual therapy. Because it might just point out that you're in the wrong couple, and it might give you the freedom to now define what you need as a couple. And then you might realize that this person doesn't have the capacity to give you what you need for who you are now.
Mm, 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 mm. That's that's a bar. That's a bar, man. There's a lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, man. There's a lot of people that's in some relationships and they like,
Without an
man,
arm, I spit. Without an arm, I spit.
nah,
They
seriously.
need to go individual. I do couples therapy, but always I meet with them individually first. What stopped you? Because at some point I'm going to have to, the way that the Gottman therapy is structured, I still have to meet with you individually and collectively. So when I start meeting with you individually, I'm starting to figure out what's going on with you.
Mm,
9 times out of 10, you're not satisfied.
mm,
You're holding resentment.
mm, man.
Who taught you that? So like, like when we talked about like men and how we started, even how we got here was because I made that comment about men saying that women don't care
Right. Yeah.
about them. People don't care about their feelings.
Right.
Most times that's because they receive those messages somewhere along the line that their feelings, when they're expressed, are not heard or received or validated or important, right? Just like you said, they don't feel seen in a relationship, so they don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not that. You sometimes you have to do work to make sure you believe that you matter because
Right.
you've taken all of that in over the course of a relationship. Maybe your mother ignoring you. Do as I say, not as like I didn't ask you. Like when I grew up, it was kids are supposed to be seen and not heard.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody expresses himself as a kid, you get ignored. Maybe depending on who's in your house and your family and how they feel that should be. So imagine if that happens to you over and over and over again as a kid.
Right.
You could have a parent who decides to like beat you and basically suppress that. Or you could have parents like I did who was like, listen, you got to stop talking so much at school, Sonny. Here is a journal. Write down what you feel. You cannot keep disrupting this class. Okay, they will put me in special ed in Andrew Jackson.
Oh, word.
I was so bad in school. It's not even something I like to tell people because I was really bad. Like my academic grades were like always 85 and higher. So I was always in like SP classes or whatever you call them, like the special advanced talented and gifted. But my conduct was horrible. U minus. There's no U minus on that rubric. That's how bad it was that they gave me a minus. I was in 11th grade. I was 15 because I got skipped. And they said they was going to put me in special education because I didn't behave.
That's not even adding up. How you get skipped, but you still going, like, come on, bro.
So my godmother said to me, let me tell you something right now. They could teach a monkey how to sit. I'll never forget. They could teach a monkey how to sit still for an hour. You better sit down in that class and be quiet. I was like, oh God, I'm in trouble. Now remember, my father's addicted to drugs. My mother died. So here's my godmother. She raises me. She has full-time custody of me. So she raises me Monday through Friday in Hollis. And then on Saturday and Sunday, I go to Canarsie with my stepmother. So my stepmother gives me the journal. Here, honey. 2 different parenting styles.
Mm.
Here, honey, I want you to write what you're feeling. The other one said, listen, get down or lay down because you don't got a choice.
Damn.
So if you, depending on what your parenting experience was as a kid, you might not feel comfortable to express. So I wasn't encouraged to express and act out in school anymore, but I was encouraged to write my feelings.
Mm.
So that didn't stop me from expressing my feelings as I got older. But there are so many people that I know, men and women, who their parents were just not supportive in expression.
Right.
And or when they may have had that, but then when they enter their relationships, they have relationship history where as soon as they say something, the person is like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Now that deters you from wanting to continue sharing what you were saying because the person is now making it seem like it's a bother for you to express how you feel.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Now, if you're dealing with somebody who has like narcissistic tendencies and they gaslight you into a reaction, and then you don't like the reaction that you give off, now you might even shy away from that because now you feel like they pushed your buttons and then they got you to a space where you don't want to be because they got you to do this, and then they react sarcastically because they know exactly what they were doing, and they manipulated you to this point where you're like, shit, I did it again. So now I don't want to say anything. So now you stay in a relationship, you don't say anything.
Mm.
Because you don't even want to have that conversation with them. You don't want the conflict. You want to take the path of least resistance, so you don't say anything. So now you have all of these different scenarios, whether you were told that nobody wants to hear what you have to say, or whether somebody basically literally silenced you about what you had to say, or they discouraged you from expressing your emotions when you did, or you had these negative experiences. So now you think nobody cares, and that's not the case. I'm here, I'm telling you, me, from my experience in working with other Black women and other Black men, and from my own personal life experience. We care. But it's important to not build up a wall and not allow some of us in.
Right.
So I always say, we're from New York, so we know City Island. We know what City Island is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're from, let's say you all the way in the boondocks, you don't know City Island, you know what Nautical Mile is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what IHOP is. Would you go to IHOP and ask for crab legs?
Nah.
And if you wanted pancakes, would you go to Nautical Mile and City Island and ask them to make you pancakes?
No.
So you have to use discernment about who you share what with, why you're sharing it, and how much you're sharing it for. Every person doesn't deserve access to your vulnerability. You need to vet them. If I stood outside and I told you, could you give me $100? You wouldn't give me $100. You'll be like, who is this chick?
Right.
But if your girlfriend stood outside and she asked you, can I have $100? You might give your girlfriend $100.
I might give her 500. No, let me stop.
Because you vet her. You already vetted her, so you know that she's deserving of your money.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
People are deserving of your feelings. You have to make sure you're sharing them with the right people. Some men like to share with the wrong women. Sometimes men know that they are with women that basically tap into a part of them that's not so healthy. Like some men like women who like conflict. They like that conflict. They like women who's all ran, and who argue. I know men who feel like women have to prove their worth by like approaching other women that they may talk to so that they could like fight for the spot on some hi Shirley I'm coming to you as a woman type of joint. Like some men like women who yell and scream and holler and curse at them because sometimes that's what they grew up with. They know that my girl crazy. Yeah, you crazy too.
You like that craziness.
You like that. You like that. I remember meeting and being involved with a guy who used to be like, so do you get angry? Do you like angry sex?
Oh my God,
no,
bro.
I don't like that at all, sir. You want me to give you a referral? See what I mean about let me give you a referral. I don't, if I'm angry, those two love and anger don't occupy me at the same time. I don't like you. Matter of fact, I want to delete your number. So we have to understand, men and women, we cannot just share everything with everybody. Our body, our feelings, our money, our mind, even our votes. Okay. I'm not political, but don't let everybody gaffle you just to get something out of you. And you need to be, you got to be responsible about what you're choosing to share. If I want to share something about my sexual history or my relationship with my mother, I should make sure that you're a safe person to share that with. What is the purpose of me sharing that with you? What am I looking to get from this? Am I looking to gain your empathy? Is it a way for you to get closer to me?
Mm-hmm.
Am I looking for sympathy? Am I projecting? Am I dumping? What is the reason I'm sharing this with you? That's number one. Why do I feel that you're safe enough to have that? What have you shown me or done to prove to me that if I give this to you, you will hold it safely and you won't weaponize it and throw it back against me if we get in an argument?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Men know when women hold stuff against people. All you have to do is pay attention to how they treat their friends.
Ooh.
Women
Man.
are more forgiving to men a gazillion times than they are to their own friends.
Talk about it. Let them know.
I ain't this bitch. She did. I'm cutting her off.
Yeah.
But let your man do something, you go, oh, me and Rashad, we gonna work it out. So y'all know if the woman has a propensity to hold stuff against people, to throw it back. When they start arguing, do they start spilling the secrets? You should know what your woman is like. If you know that when she gets in an argument with Tamika, oh, I ain't messing with her anyway, because all she do is then maybe that's not the woman you should tell the secrets to. Maybe you should get a therapist, somebody who's invested some time, some money, some skill, some energy, some experiences, some sacrifice, and to be able to provide a safe space for you to contain those feelings and emotions and help you process
them. Listen, man.
We care, but everybody doesn't care.
Man, I'm gonna tell you something right now. I'll probably make that a clip, and I can already see it. How am I supposed to know that this is how she is if she don't even act like that with all her friends? How you making me responsible for? You know what I'm saying? It's just.
So here, let's add to the clip.
Yeah, go ahead.
How does she talk about her work friends, colleagues, bosses, and people that she interacts with? Right? When we go to work, we usually have to play a game, right? We're in a space of double consciousness. You have to be yourself around other Black people, but then you have to be yourself around other non-Black people.
Mm-hmm.
But how does she talk to you about work and the people that she works with? Are you ever on the phone with her at work? Or do you ever go to a holiday party with her at work? You can tell if a person is authentic and or phony. You can tell if they're playing a game or if they really don't mess with somebody. You know your woman. There are women who do not sugarcoat shit for nobody.
I know a couple.
I don't care. I don't like her. The woman could say hi to another woman. They not even trying to put on a poker face. Those are the women that tell you up front what you're dealing with. There's other women who might put a poker face on, but you have to pay attention to your woman. See, this is a part where listening plays a huge advantage to the men, because sometimes women talk and the men just tune them out.
Bruh, I don't even. I want you to keep going. I need you to keep going, actually, because I try to tell you gonna have me curse on the pod, so I'm not even gonna curse. I be trying to tell men. I try to tell men all the time, bro. You need to listen, bro. I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other. And the reason why the reason why a lot of these men be having so many problems is because you refuse to listen, bro. You don't spend time listening, bro. You're spending all your time trying to get into a relationship, trying to get into something, trying to change somebody into something instead of listening and comprehending. Because it's one thing to listen, it's a whole other thing to comprehend and understand what's actually being told to you.
Yep.
Right? And a lot of times us as men, we don't want to listen. I come in with my plan. This is what it should be.
already fixated. It's already in here.
You get what I'm
Remember
saying?
about
Yeah.
the meat and potatoes, that how women and men tackle problems is different. Men want to solve the problem, then the meat and potatoes. They just want to know the heart of the recipe. What do I need? What is the problem? Here's the solution. The women, they don't want the meat and potatoes. They want to write out the whole recipe. They want to tell you how much temperature to put the saucepan on. They want to let it simmer for 10 hours. They want to go back and taste the meat and make sure it's tenderized. They want to now go and make sure they have the perfect pairing of vegetables and the right wine to go with the dish. Then they want to talk about aesthetics. They want to plate it. They want to plate the meal. This has to go here, and this has to go here. We need a little cup
I'm
of
like, woman, just give me my goddamn food, please.
The women want to understand what happened, how it happened, why it happened, when it happened, and how to not make it happen again. The man just want to solve it so we can move on to the next thing. Because they operate from that space, they don't like listening to detail. Women, you have to understand your man. You have to know which men. There are men who listen and who love detail. I met some of them recently. One I like a lot. He's completely opposite than I am. He's not a reader. He's a tactile person. So he's a creative. He does all kinds of things. That's not me. But it's good because he pays attention to detail.
Right. That's one thing, man. Yeah.
Women and men have to understand their starting points. And I think if you think about that, where your baseline is, where your starting point, and what's your level of investment in a person, how much you're willing to move up, then you'll be able to get to a space where people can communicate verbally and you can actually comprehend what they're saying.
Right.
If you're not invested and you're not recognizing where your handicap or your limitation lies, then you're not going to grow. Be honest with yourself. When my girl talks to me, I don't even be listening to her. What's the song said? Fab said in the song, he said, damn, that's crazy. You really wasn't listening. So when people say, we know that when people say, damn, that's crazy, they wasn't listening to you.
Right. Son be in the crib, she come home, and he just, damn, that's crazy her to death.
Wow.
Wow, that really happened? Damn, that's crazy, babe.
Crazy.
Wow, I can't believe that, babe. Damn, that's crazy, babe. Damn.
Meanwhile,
wow.
She just told you she don't like Maria at work. And she done told you Maria steals office supplies. Now, Maria gave her office supplies when she stole them, but now she told you that she steals them. So if you give her a secret, you think she might not throw it back at you if you arguing?
She's not listening.
Women have families. They don't have friends, but they have parents. They have siblings. What is the relationship like with the siblings? What's the relationship like with the parents? When they are in conflict with somebody else, how do they behave? The way you do one thing is the way you do everything.
I'm gonna just let you say it, because when I say it, I feel like it goes in one ear and out the other.
That's how I feel with the students. I'll tell them stuff they don't listen. I bring another student in the class that graduated. Oh my God, Miss Sunny, that's so, I'm like, I just said that for a whole the last 3 classes.
Sometimes they got to come from somebody outside of you. They get tired.
That's the parents tell me that all the time. They be like, oh, Miss Sunny, we've been telling them, but let Miss Sunny tell it. I said, well, then tell me what you want me to tell them.
Facts. Let's work together. Village mentality. That's what it got to be, though.
That's what I say all the time. So I think ultimately we have the propensity, we have the capacity, we have the ability to show up better for one another as Black men and Black women. But we have to have the drive internally. We have to have the investment in each other. And we have to have the efficacy in ourselves to be able to do that. I read something online today and it said Black women should be in relationships with whoever they feel protects and nurtures them and some other stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's great, but I want to be in a relationship with a Black man. So if you want to date whoever you want to date, that's cool, sis. Knock yourself out. I don't want to date that person. I want to date someone who understands what it's like to live in my skin.
Mm.
I once worked with a couple where the husband was Black and the wife was Puerto Rican. And the wife could not, the husband's main concern was that the wife did not understand how stressful it was for him to drive.
Really? Explain.
And as soon as he said it, I already knew what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was like maybe a few years ago. And when he said it, I knew what he was saying because for me, when I drive like I just left the driving school, some places. The only time I really have anxiety is if a police car is behind me because I've had negative experiences with the police.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have tinted windows. I'm not pulling. I had a police pull a gun out on me when I was 20 years old on the corner of Linden and 228th Street. Because I was driving around at night with a hoodie on, and I came from getting ice cream in Elmont and Linden because my boyfriend was cheating on me at the time, and I was driving around looking for him, and I couldn't tell my friends because I gave up all my friends when I got in a relationship because I was 20, I didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. So he didn't come home, so I went looking for him, and then I said, well, let me get some ice cream, and the police pulled me over, and it was this whole big thing, and they pulled a gun on me. I peed on myself and everything. But ever since then, I've had trauma from that experience. So whenever I see police behind me, I'll be on a 9 and 3, like somebody's grandmother. Mm-hmm. I gotta turn the radio down. I gotta roll the window down for some air. Start sweating a little bit. It's a trauma response.
Yeah.
So I'm not speeding. Y'all could go right around me because if you get stopped, you might be sent with a warning on your way. If I get stopped, I might not even make it out of this. Mm. So when he said his wife doesn't understand how stressful it is for him to drive, I already deduced what he was saying, but that's what he was saying. She wants me to drive fast and all of this other stuff. She gets angry. And sometimes I just prefer for her to drive when we go places. And she's lighter skinned than he is. He's like, she doesn't understand colorism.
Hold on real quick. Can you mute yourself real quick?
Yep.
I think the audio sounds crazy. I don't know. And unmute real quick and talk again.
Okay. Is it better?
Nah, it's wild right now. You got headphones in?
No.
Maybe it's me. Hold on. I could be tweaking. Hold up. All right, say something okay. Again.
Let me say something. Does it sound better?
Damn, that sounds crazy. You don't.
It sounds like an alien.
It sounds crazy right now. Maybe it's just me though. So come out and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on, y'all. We having some technical difficulties in here. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it was sounding like she was transformed up in here, man. So we're going to get her back in and then we're going to wrap the episode up. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I think this has been a real good episode for sure. So let's see. All right, cool. She coming back in. All right. Let me hear you. Let me see what's up.
Okay, is it better?
Okay, it's way better. All right, cool.
I sound like an alien?
You would sound, yeah. Has that happened before?
That happened to me before. When I teach, it's happened before and also in session sometime. I'm like...
Yeah, you were sounding like a transformer just now. I was like, hold up.
I told the client, I said, you put the Stranger Things filter on your voice today? I can't hear you. She's like, no, please. Okay, so what we were talking about. Oh, the couple that the wife didn't understand how colorism affected her husband, and he had like traumatizing experience. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm like, I don't want to have to explain to someone what it's like to live in my skin.
Right.
So while other people may be comfortable dating outside their race, I'm just not in that space. I don't think that that's for me. My friends, some of them think that I'm going to have an amazing white husband. I'm like, when you say white, you mean light skin, right?
They probably mean white.
They mean white.
You're not with it.
if that man gets divorced, what's his name? From Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, Mark Wahlberg.
I don't know who the hell that is.
That is Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, Mark Wahlberg? That man
if he gets divorced and I'll take him.
That man old as hell, man.
Or I take George Clooney. That's it.
Mark Wahlberg age.
How old
like
is he?
55. 53? No, he 51.
Okay, that's doable.
I ain't gonna lie. This picture of him not looking too good though. You could do a little bit better than that. Who was the other one? George Clooney?
George Clooney is old. He's like grandfather age.
George Clooney is 61.
So
hell no.
So it's okay. We'll be like Anna Nicole type of relationship. He's almost on his way out.
You crazy? Yo, man, this has been a good conversation, man. Sonny, I appreciate you coming on.
Likewise. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We've had a really good conversation. Can you please tell the people where they can find you, how they can support anything you got coming up and all that good stuff?
Okay, so on Instagram, my Instagram name is The People's Therapist. Mm-hmm. So it's plural, ThePeoples Therapist, THERAPIST. Right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna open my page since I went on here. Well, once you release this,
it's gonna be in a few weeks. Yeah.
So then I'll open my page. But in the meantime, that's the best place to find me. Sign up for my mailing list because a lot of times I might send stuff to the mailing list that I might not post on social media because I feel like I want people who are invested. One of the biggest things that I want everyone to know is that a lot of therapists have sacrificed so much to do what they do and to be able to support you. So when men say, oh, nobody cares, I'm like, you need to find the people who care. Mm-hmm. Right? We talked about that earlier. I invested a lot of time and money and effort to learn what I did. Right? In order to go to school, we have to do a complete master's program. That's at like 60 credits. Then you have to do an internship before you graduate, which is like 1,200 hours of free labor. And then to graduate, you have to do like 3,000 plus hours after you graduate, which is usually free as well. Mm-hmm. And that's for mental health counseling, right? I think social workers have more hours than we have to, and they have to take another test. So I think they have to take 2 tests like we do before you graduate and after you graduate, but then I think they have to take another test after their hours. So these people have invested time. They do care. Right. But you need to show up for them. And for yourself. So don't just go to therapy trying to fake it till you make it. I'm the therapist. If you don't do your homework, you don't come to session, you don't respond, you're not working towards your goals, we need to reassess this working relationship. My clients like, oh, Sonny, I did my goals for the 3rd quarter because I don't want to get fired from therapy. I'm glad you know. I'm not holding space for nobody who doesn't want to hold space for themselves.
So let me ask you, you have any more? Because I know people are gonna be interested in working with you. I just had a therapist on. He said he got some referrals from the pod. Those of y'all that's lurking on the pod looking for therapists, y'all better stop it. Now let me stop. This is good. Do you have any openings if anybody wants to work with you?
I will be taking openings. Right now I just took people for October. There is a link in my Instagram bio for my Linktree that has a form for clients to fill out because I am very particular about making sure I have the right fit. Right? I'm a multi-modality therapist, right? So I work within the constructs of CBT, also with EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, which is a trauma intensive type of therapy to provide to people. I'm a Gottman therapist. I'm a holistic nutritional counselor because I believe that food plays a major part. What's in your gut affects your mood. I'm a sacred woman practitioner trained by Queen Afua herself. So I know I'm a Kemetic Reiki, which is African-based Reiki practitioner. So I'm a multimodality therapist. I don't leave it to chance that the person I'm working with is the wrong fit. I take extra precaution to make sure that we are going to be aligned and that our work will be effective and we'll be able to work together well. There's a link for them to fill out before we can have a conversation. And based on how they fill out that form, it will inform me if we should take the next step. And everybody's welcome to fill out the form. But there are like certain people who have certain, I guess, underlying characteristics. Like, I don't do well with borderline personality. Why? Because I'm structured. Remember we talked about me being structured in the very beginning. I plan things. Sometimes borderline people don't do well with structure. They want to go around and violate boundaries. And I'm like, nah, kid, we're not doing it. Oh, can I pay this way? Because no, that's not the way you pay.
Right.
So now you get in a conflict with me, you got a conflict with everybody else. Then you need to find a person who focuses on BPD, because I don't do well with that. Right? I need to know what it is that you want to work on in therapy. So with my form, you're going to tell me what it is you're here for. Are you here for depression? You could be here for substance abuse. I don't work with people who are actively using substances. So again, I have to vet to see if you're a right fit.
Listen, y'all heard it here. Go follow her, the People's Therapist. Fill out that form and see if she thinks, you guys are a good fit. Then y'all will have a conversation about it. Sonny, this has been dope. Thank you so much.
I'm I love you. I'm like your biggest. I tell you, I be sending your things to every guy that I know, even the ones who go in the DM for not so good reasons. I'm like, you should watch this. That's what I do. My copy and paste. You should watch this. You should watch this. They're probably like, she gonna send me clips on therapy. She don't want to give me her number. Abso-freaking-lutely.
I appreciate that so much, Sonny. Thank you so much for being on the pod, man.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all see I'm in a suit. I am never in a suit, but today is a special day. We just signed a contract with 2 Black organizations. They're gonna offer therapy and medical care to Safe Haven and the Express Yourself Black Man platform. We're partnering with both Whole Brother Mission and the Healthcare Plug. I'm gonna have Malik, the CEO of Whole Brother Mission, and Simone from the Healthcare Plug explain exactly what that partnership means.
I'm Malik Blade, CEO of the Whole Brother Mission. We are a nonprofit offering mental health services to Black men nationwide. We have a network of over 3,000 mental health professionals. We're offering exclusive low price for therapy to members of Safe Haven and free group therapy. All you need to do is join the low-cost therapy group. And there's more. We're not just focused on your mental health, we're focused on creating a space for holistic healing. So I'm about to pass it over to Simone so she can tell you how the Healthcare Plug is doing that.
Hey, I'm Simone Kenya, CEO of the Healthcare Plug, the nation's first medical concierge service for Black and Brown communities. Our goal is to increase the access that marginalized groups have to the highest healthcare quality possible. Of our partnership with Express Yourself Black Man, we're offering free round-trip transportation, assistance with getting signed up for affordable insurance plans, and physician referrals. So we'll get you plugged in with Black and Brown doctors in your area. All you have to do is sign up for Safe Haven and join the Medical Concierge Group.
Safe Haven is the only platform where Black men can get access to a support network of other Black men that can relate to exactly what they're going through. And on top of that, they get access to low-cost therapy, the free medical concierge service, free group therapy, and a personal finance group with information on how you can take your situation financially to the next level. So at this point, why are you not in Safe Haven? So if you're ready to start taking your healing and your life seriously into the next level, join Safe Haven. The link is in my bio.
Sometimes I know you feel like you ain't got nobody to speak to. A shoulder to lean on somebody you could preach to. No, you need to hear it, my brother, I love you. We got way too much to live for. We got way too much to live